Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad, and take a dive in old sports. This is my NFL Week 11 recap video. Um, I didn't perform that extremely well once again. For 4 straight weeks, I have lost 7 games. I'm not sure what funk I am in. Um, this is really bad. Actually, this week I compared myself with my son's record, and he didn't do so hot either. Unfortunately, he went 6-9, so we're both really off our game. So let's just go ahead and just dive right into last Thursday's action. But before we do that, if you could do me a favor, go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me, give me a like. It really helps out my channel and helps please the YouTube gods. You can also subscribe, you get that bell notification for the next time I post a video. And let's jump right back into it. Last Thursday, the Patriots went down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal, and they just manhandled Atlanta. That defense showed up. The Falcons could not do anything. Matt Ryan was so confused. He was getting intercepted. It was just, they were off their game plan. And the Patriots went down there and shut out the Falcons 25-0. And then Sunday's action. There was some games out there that were like WTF. One of those games, let's go ahead and start off. The Colts at the Bills. The Colts showed up. The defense was all over Buffalo. Jonathan Taylor was the focal point, and Buffalo could not stop him. Jonathan Taylor had 5 touchdowns against the Bills. He single-handedly destroyed them. Unfortunately, there wasn't not much that Josh Allen can do. I mean, he still threw two touchdowns, but it was just Taylor just could not be stopped. He could not be stopped. He had 185 yards on the ground, 4 rush touchdowns. He also caught a touchdown. So Carson Wentz couldn't even be Carson Wentz in this game, and the Colts destroyed Buffalo. One of the top teams in the AFC, and the Colts just manhandled them 41-15. Then we head to Chicago. We had the Ravens visiting the Bears. Lamar Jackson wasn't playing. He was ill with not that evil word that I will not say. So Huntley got his start as the Ravens quarterback, and the Bears defense also now without Khalil Mack, who's out for the season for foot surgery. So this is really 2 teams that are missing some key stars, and Justin Fields even got injured in this game, got hurt with his ribs. We had the return of Andy Dalton, and his first drive as quarterback led to a touchdown to Mooney. Mooney had over 120 yards receiving. Well, it wasn't enough. There was just too much Ravens. The Bears went back to being normal again. It seems like they couldn't stop anything, and they couldn't produce anything. And the Ravens ended up winning at the end, 16-13. Then you had the lowly Detroit Lions visiting the Cleveland Browns. The Lions have yet to win a game this season. They do have a tie. And the Browns this was a lackluster performance from the Browns, but also Baker Mayfield continues to go out there broken and will not sit down. And the thing, if I was the Browns ownership, I'll go, nope, you're offline next week. You need to rest. You need to recuperate. You're getting banged up. You're getting beat up. You're doing too much to really help the team really to kind of do anything. They did pretty much a trick play, which Landry set up as the quarterback. Mayfield was the running back. Direct snap to Landry, went straight in for a touchdown. And that's pretty much the only highlight of this game. Once again, the Browns defense couldn't really control the run because Swift had 136 yards on the ground and a touchdown. But it was just a really bad performance all around. But the Cleveland ended up winning. They try to keep their playoff hopes alive, beating the Lions 13-10. And then another game that no one saw coming. The Houston Texans walked into Nashville and smacked the Titans around. We have no idea where this Houston team came from or they were actually capable of this type of performance. But they just manhandled the Titans. Tannehill couldn't do anything correct. Any sustainable drive, and it turned to be turnovers. It was Tyrod Taylor just all of a sudden just decided he was Superman. And I mean, Tannehill still over 300 yards passing, but he just could not find an end zone. He kept finding other people. And the Texans left Nashville 22-13 victorious. I mean, I didn't foresee that one coming, so that was, a fugly game. And then Green Bay into Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers had supposedly some toe injury he sustained a couple weeks ago when he was out. And this is one of the games that I saw could go on either way, really. Minnesota's one of these teams that's always in these games, and they just find a way to lose. But I've been burned in the past by picking against Aaron Rodgers, so I didn't. And this game, if you were to watch it, probably did not disappoint. They actually went blow for blow, trying to outduel each other. And Rodgers actually had 385 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. I mean, he was trying his on his own to do it. Kirk Cousins tried to do his Kirk Cousins routine and cough the ball up and have the Vikings lose. He threw 2 interceptions to Savage. One was nullified because of a penalty, and the second one was ruled incomplete. It looked like he had it, but apparently, I guess the ball. I was trying to watch the replay myself. I couldn't really see the ball exactly, but I guess it was enough for the ref to overturn the interception call, which led to a game-winning field goal at the final seconds as the Vikings knock off the Packers 34-31. Then Miami head up to MetLife to take on the Jets, and this was not a pretty game, to say the least. Flacco was making his first NFL start in some time. And it was just, pretty a lackluster affair between these two teams. Offenses have like 1 or 2 drives where they, look really good. Flacco almost had 300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. And Tua was doing his thing, what he wanted to do, and it was, not much really to go off of, but the Dolphins left New York 24-17 victors. Then Saints visited Philadelphia. The Saints now without Alvin Kamara for a second week in a row, so they're missing a huge piece on their offense. Philadelphia is now running high. They're flying high. They're doing what they have to do right now to be a sustainable team to possibly challenge for a possible playoff spot. They are starting to move in that direction. Their defense is starting to step up. They handled the Saints quite well, despite the Saints trying, charge at the end of the game. Hurts had 3 touchdowns on the ground himself. Simeon had 3 touchdowns in the air. And it was all for naught. There was just too much Philadelphia early, and the defense was able to hold on to stop the Saints' late fourth quarter surge, where Saints scored up 22 points, but Philadelphia ended up winning 40-29. Then Washington went down to Carolina They take on the Panthers. This is now Ron Rivera taking on his old team, taking on his old quarterback. Now Cam Newton is the starter once again in Carolina. It's back to the future. This was a pretty, steady game between these two franchises. They were doing exactly what they needed to do between each other. Heineke had 3 touchdowns in the air. He did enough. It was towards the end of the game. Carolina was driving, and Washington sacked Cam Newton. That just sealed the game, and Washington left victorious, 27-21. Then Jacksonville was playing host to San Francisco, and this wasn't much of a contest. The 49ers came down there, did what they wanted to do at will, and just smacked the Jaguars around 30-10. Cincinnati went out to the bright lights of Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, and just one of these things. Burrow got sacked, coughed at the football, but the Bengals defense stepped up and only allowed 3 points, and that was pretty much all they needed. That kind of helped solidify, and of course, a huge fourth quarter by the Bengals, where they ended up scoring 19 points. Pretty much led by Mixon with his 123 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns overall, and the Cincinnati beat Las Vegas 32-13 to keep their hopes in the NFC North alive as well. The game of the week: the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City was favored in this game. I was going with Dallas because I didn't believe the hype of the Kansas City defense, because they took on the Raiders the previous week, and they dismantled them. I didn't really take too much in consideration that offense was humming along again. Boy, was I wrong. Mahomes and Dak, neither one of them had touchdown passing. So that's credit to both secondaries to not prevent the receivers doing what they had to do. Just a defensive showdown. The Kansas City Chiefs were sacking Dak Prescott pretty regularly, and this is something that I never really seen of the Chiefs defense before. They can never get sustained pressure on the quarterback. They can never really, defend well against the pass, and it was just unreal how well the Chiefs defense just stood up and was protecting their home turf. And the Cowboys defense just couldn't do anything really. It was just the Chiefs were just kind of doing what they can kind of do, just not very, pretty much what they did was a Green Bay defense. Just it wasn't flashy. They just did enough to put the points on the board. The defense kind of did the rest. And in the final 2 minutes, the Cowboys were trying to drive, trying to make it, because they were only down 10 at that time. And they were trying to drive, trying to get that touchdown, to get that onside kick, you deal with all this. But Dak threw a pick, and that was it. Sealed the deal. Chiefs beat the Cowboys 19-9 to continue the trope that the Cowboys cannot perform well against good teams. And Kansas City is back on top of this in the AFC West. Then up to the Pacific Northwest, where the Seattle Seahawks play host to the depleted Arizona Cardinals. Once again, Murray wasn't starting. It was Colt McCoy's team. No DeAndre Hopkins. It didn't flipping matter. I don't know what's wrong with the Seattle team. They are not in sync whatsoever. I'm not sure what is going on. Lockett tried his best. He had 100 yards receiving, but he didn't score. And it was just, Colt McCoy was just brilliant. I mean, almost 330 yards passing, 2 TDs. He even connected with Hurts for 2 of those TDs, for both of those TDs actually. And Connor put the nail in the coffin with a TD of himself. And Arizona, the depleted Cardinals, knocked off Seattle 23-21 to pretty much remain the best team in the NFC. Then Sunday night, Pittsburgh visited LA to take on the Chargers. Big Ben was actually cleared to start. Rudolph was kind of, saying they may keep him in there. It didn't really matter because I think this is the time frame that the Chargers were just kind of doing what they did. But the fourth quarter almost was magical. The Steelers put up 27 points in the fourth quarter. They came back from behind. They were just trying to do what they had to do. They actually even took the lead. But then Herbert found Williams for a 53-yard game-winning touchdown, and that was it. Chargers got back on the winning ways again, outdueling the Steelers 41-37. Then on Monday night, last night, he had the Giants visiting Tampa Bay. The Giants decided to wear some, the uniforms they wore when they won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay back in Super Bowl 25. Tried to get some of that, nostalgia to kind of help them move along. In the first half they did. I mean, it was pretty close. Brady still threw a pick in that first half. And Tampa Bay was leading the Giants 17-10. But we all know Saquon Barkley also returned. But he really couldn't do much because the Buccaneers defense also returned. That second half, Daniel Jones had no time whatsoever. And the Bucs ran away in the second half, beating the Giants 30-10. The standings right now to see who's going to be kind of in as the playoff teams. And there's some shockers and some teams that kind of let me down so far. So right now you have Tennessee Titans sitting on top of the AFC despite their loss. Baltimore now is number 2. New England now on top of the AFC East, sits at the 3rd spot, and the Chiefs are back in the playoffs as the 4th seed. Now the remaining playoff wild card will be the Bengals, Chargers, and Bills. Well, they're 5, 6, and 7. So there's some teams in there that I definitely didn't. New England I didn't have in my playoff bracket, nor the Bengals. And the ones I had were the Steelers were sitting there right now at 8th. Pretty much a half game behind, Buffalo, LA, and Cincinnati. And Cleveland, who's also pretty much a half game behind those teams. So the race for those finals positions are really, really tight. There's no clear team right now. It's going to be the most dominant team in the AFC. There's no clear-cut favorite right now. Even though I think the Patriots and Chiefs are right now the two teams nobody wants to face right now. But, kind of see how that one kind of goes. And on the NFC, the Cardinals remain the top team of the NFC. Right behind them is Green Bay, despite their loss. Followed by Tampa Bay and Dallas, the other 2 divisional winners. And the Rams, unfortunately, fit number 5, but they got the same record as most of the other division winners. Minnesota is 6, and the Saints are 7. So definitely taking out my. I had the entire NFC West in the playoffs in the beginning of the season. Right now, the 49ers are 8th, so right now they're tied with Minnesota and New Orleans. So just still plenty of games left. There's still 7 games left between these teams, so anything can really happen. And you gotta think there's Philadelphia, there's Carolina. Washington still kind of hanging in there. Atlanta. So it's going to be a very interesting season coming down. But, hey, that's a recap of last week. Like I said, I went 8-7. So, once again, 4 weeks in a row, I've lost 7 games. Not ideal, so I'm not sure what I need to do to get out of this funk. Maybe stop picking some, off-the-wall picks. I don't know. But I will get the Week 12 out to you guys tomorrow before the Thursday matchups of Thanksgiving, because, hey, it's that special time of year again where we get together and just stuff our faces full of food and watch football. So I'll make sure I get those videos out to that video out to you tomorrow. And also kind of compare, how my son picks and how I picked. Once again, kind of see who does better. Like I said, he went 6-9. I went 8-7. So neither one of us did very well. So hopefully we can straighten that trend next week. So hey, just leave a comment down below. Let me know what game really surprised you last week. Which game are you looking forward to this upcoming week? Of course, I'm going to look forward to that Bears-Lions game. Great Thanksgiving Day game for me. And I'm cooking the turkey. I'll be dressed out, my Bears gear. Just me. But anyways, and just let me know what you think. I always love hearing from you all. While you're there, you can also hit that thumbs up for me once again. Once again, it pleases the YouTube gods. You can also subscribe if you wish. And once you subscribe, hit that bell notification so next time I post a video. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.